everyone. Welcome to the Zone to Speak podcast. I'm your host, Juliana. Before the episode, I have got to share one of my absolute favorite ride essentials, the Psych Plus Smart Pump. This little thing goes everywhere with me. It's compact, powerful, and honestly a game changer on the bike. I love using it mid-ride when switching between terrains. I can drop the pressure for gravel and then pump it back up when I hit the road. Super easy, super fast. And of course, it's a total lifesaver in case of a flat or any loss of air. No stress, no hand pumping. Just press the button and go. You can grab yours with 10% off using my code ZONE2SPEAK. Link and details are in the episode notes. Trust me, once you try it, you won't leave for a ride without it. Psych Plus Smart Pump. Smart, simple, and ready for any adventure. Now, let's hear it for the episode.
Hi, and welcome to another episode of Zone to Speak with Juliana. But today, I'm hosting Debbie. I don't know if any of you remember back in the early days, Juliana and I are BFFs. So we started the podcast originally co-hosting together. So this is kind of a natural little transition for today. I know a lot of her listeners were asking to know a little bit more about Juliana. She kind of shares a little bit about herself, but she doesn't really focus on that. That's something Juliana's really good at. She's really focused on the guest, and I love that about her and our friendship in general because she really listens. So it's a good quality. But today we are going to learn about her more. And it was just easy for me to get that kind of stuff out of her. So I'm going to host today. So this is the dynamic for today. So hope everybody doesn't mind and enjoys a little bit of this. So today we are welcoming Juliana.
Yay! Thanks for having me as a guest. Exciting. I'm a little bit nervous.
I'm a little nervous. I'm super rusty on this, but let's get into the podcast. When we started it, we always wanted to focus on cycling because for us, cycling played such a huge role in our lives. It really opened our lives up. We went in so many different directions with triathlon, ultra cycling, everything. But it's just that mind-body connection that we share, and that what you notice that connection within other sports like ultra cycling, bike packing. It builds community connection, and you wanted to share. Well, we wanted to share those stories. And when you took the podcast solo, you really kind of delved into that so much. So really, I want to ask, how did you feel going solo? Was it scary? Was it like liberating in some way? How did you feel, and how was that transition?
Definitely not liberating. I was indeed nervous because I feel you have such a good read on people and you're so good at coming back. And I was afraid, like, how will the dynamics be with just me? Can I, have this read as well and turn around and build upon those answers? I think for a while I was a little bit more mechanic and script. Obviously I do research and I prepare and I prepare my questions. I want things to flow, but I think I'm finally getting more comfortable as a host, a solo host.
I agree. I think that I loved that side of you, and even our dynamic, because you come from that. You'd have to explain that too to listeners, just to let them know a little bit more about you. You come from kind of that kind of dynamic of more corporate and in that atmosphere where you really need to be prepared. And plus you like being prepared. You're an organized person, in that way. You're artistic as well, but you also like to be organized and have like things going on and knowing how to fill those spaces. So I loved that part. And I kind of was the one that you kind of rein in because I could just go off. But yeah, it was funny. It was like you could hear little pickups in between of where to connect. And that takes time. I think doing it on your own helped you flex that muscle more. I get it. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's super
Yeah.
scary doing that. It's like being thrown out naked.
Yeah. Yeah. And, it takes time to get comfortable, even when you listen back to the episode. There's not much I edit. Usually I just put the intro and the closer. Maybe if there is some chit chat with the guest, maybe I'll edit that out because it's something that it's off the record. But I want everything to be very authentic. But the point is, it's a lot of getting used to listening to yourself. I guess the same goes to people that are editing videos, like to watch yourself. So you have to get used to that part and be less critical of yourself. But I was always excited. Of course, I care about the outcome, but I don't care as much in the sense that I'm doing what I like. This is my creative outlet. I'm enjoying doing this. And if 3 people listen to it and they are enjoying, wonderful. Of course, if it's a big hit, which it has been, which I'm always in awe that it's on, top of the charts in over 30 countries, sometimes 40 countries. And it always amazes me, but that's like a bonus,
100%. I think that's the connection. It truly is. It's not just, yes, certain guests can drive those numbers up, but it really is what keeps those listeners and what keeps it there is the connections. So you're
Yeah.
making those. You
Yeah.
definitely are. I know sometimes you tell me, oh, I'm not that people person, or you are, though. It's like they just have to get to know you. You have to be able to feel like you're in your space, but I think you found your zone really. I mean, hence the name of the podcast, which is kind of how it came about. But I
Yeah.
wanted
Yeah.
to say, what about guests and stuff like that? What have been things that you have remembered the most throughout this process? It's been over a year now, I would say.
Yeah. 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 It's going to be 2 years. I
Yeah,
think we
that's
we
crazy.
started, I think, July 2024.
Oh my God. Yeah,
Really
there's been a lot
crazy.
of big changes. We can go through those changes, but I wanted to go a little bit further on as my friend and looking at you. I also want to praise you there and congratulate you on all the success of it going solo and the consistency.
Thank
That's what stands
you.
out so much to me. And it's not even just about having an episode released every time and being consistent and good with editing and learning on your feet, and because you're all of those, but you've always been that. That's what I wanted to say. You're exactly who you are as a person, as a friend in the podcast, and how you go about doing things. You're very consistent. You're always you. And I appreciate that because I can be more of I don't know, that personality that kind of models after who you're talking to. And I
Yes.
don't like that about myself. I actually always want to edit that
I
about
think you are that
myself.
way. I don't think you are
See,
that way.
I love that hence we always kind of look within and we think so much more than the other person might be thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm an overthinker and I love that you're a doer. So,
Yeah.
and that comes across, but I've always noticed that you haven't changed throughout things, that I want listeners to know that you've always been this person, that you're not performing. This is you. And you connect, I just love how you answer everything. I know in the beginning you hated like the listening to yourself or or this or that. And I was the worst with editing. I took forever.
It's a one-man show, I think one of the things that I thought was really funny was when someone, I don't remember who, asked me, who is the producer of the podcast? And I'm like, it's a one-man show. Like, I source the guests. And even when it was the two of us, it was the two of us doing
Yeah.
everything, like sourcing the
Yeah, here we
guests,
go.
doing the research, creating the episode, doing the interview, doing the editing, publishing. I'm
Social
also
media,
outsourcing,
everything
yeah,
promotion.
social media, the partners that support the podcast, everything.
Mhm.
It's one man
You
show.
source all of that. You search for
Yeah.
that. You reach out. All of that stuff was us, you. I get it. It's a lot of work.
But it's so much fun. I think every victory, every step, it's
Yes.
celebrate it.
It propels you.
Yeah. Yeah. Small things.
I can't wait to bring this up because this was one of my favorite things that you did. And I haven't heard one in a while, and I want you to do it again. It's like the gear.
But yeah, we did 3 episodes, series of 3 on talking about gear. Yeah, that was really cool.
I love those. I love talking about gear, from anything from clothing, from tires, from what's behind doing that. So that was, for me, I was just like a nerd and I was like hooked in there. And then obviously I just love all the stories of perseverance.
Is important. Different people like different things. And this podcast is about the world of cycling. So we talk road, we talk gravel, we talk ultra distance, we talk nutrition, we talk gear. So many things. We have had doctors on the
Mhm.
podcast talk about injury prevention. We had Kat's team from Forza 13 in Girona talking a whole episode just on saddle sore. That was also a highlight because I suffer from that on ultra cycling, and it was super interesting to me, and I hope it was helpful to others. So yeah, and so hopefully different episodes will touch different people.
I know. I agree. I think honestly, like all of those episodes they've all been great in their own right, but has anything stood out to you, or what has stood out to you the most as far as has moved you?
I think every guest is special. Every guest, everyone has a story to share, and I always find everything interesting or useful. What comes to mind that have touched me, I think Juliana Beering, it was a very big episode for me because, of course, her story of resilience and overcoming child abuse and riding around the world as the first woman to hold that record. It's just mind blowing. Someone else that comes to mind is
Okay.
Brian Gahek because
Oh, I
um
loved him.
yeah, and he came back as well. I don't know on which interview he said this. I think it was on when we both interview him that he said every photograph is a love story. He falls in love with the subject. And now it's starting to make so much sense to me because it's
Mhm.
happening that
Mhm.
a lot of my guests is a love story as well. So it's really tough to pick one, but I'm just saying what's coming to mind right now. But yeah, it's been so much fun. Some are super fun, others are educative, and others are super touching. So
Yeah, I
it really
agree.
depends.
You have every little part of it in there. It kind of fills your soul, all those special stories, because with ultra cycling you really go on a journey. It's physically taxing. I mean, cycling in general, that's why when you do see these pro cyclists or anybody achieving or finishing an event, they get off the bike and they're just completely exhausted. Mind, body, soul, because we've used every ounce of ourselves in there. We're thinking about what we're doing, how we're moving. It uses our physical aspect of everything. So when you're done, it's you have to recover or you can't reset. But sharing this process is so connective. So
Yes.
yeah, that's one of the things that I can say that you always touch on is how connective the community of cycling is in general. Even on your last episode, I think he was French. It was so nice to hear him like just talk about the connections and building community. That's something that's transcending, and you do that on every episode. You ask about the connection and what it means to the person.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying what I'm doing now.
And you always tell me as well, like, oh, I really like this one's special, listen to this.
Yeah.
And yeah, what I love about our friendship too, it's always care so much about other people. I
I
think it's
what?
important you care so much about other people.
Not
It's
care.
not
I
so
thought
much
you said
about
scare. I'm like, well,
no,
what?
no. Oh, well, I don't know. No, I don't think so. Not at all. Please. But I think for so much, you're always listening, you're absorbing, you're hearing, you're taking it. And that's a lot. It's a lot to absorb different things, but you're letting somebody share. It's vulnerable. There's a space that you have to create. What you've done is not easy to achieve, I have to say. It's not.
Thank you.
It can
Thank
be
you.
very difficult. Okay, so what are you planning next? Because I know you have things in your wheelhouse. And are there any other series that you're getting a lot of listeners asking to hear or anything like that?
Yeah, I was actually thinking about doing a little bit of a survey, but what's funny is that I have a solid following on Instagram, but actually, I think the podcast community is much bigger, and the podcast community doesn't translate into social media, I, for example, listen to a lot of podcasts and I'm not following them on social media. So I'm not sure how to go about. I would love to have listeners sending me more suggestions, who they want to listen to, what they want to listen to. So maybe I'll open something on Instagram, but I don't think all my listeners are following Zone to Speak. But no, I plan to continue to do the same, which is hopefully have one episode every week and continue to have a variety of guests and topics. I talked to Redshift Sports, and we're going to do a deep dive on their products. There are some fun people booked for later in the year, which I'm very excited about. Yeah, so I think, what I have is working, so I'm not looking into change much.
I think that's a good philosophy is to stay with what works. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times people are trying to fill all these different spaces and there's really no need to do that. Just stick with the product that feels good to you, that works with that recipe, because come on, every single time you're going to get that fulfillment from it. So I think that's important. We always see so many people trying to become bigger and bigger and bigger. Why? It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, I mean, if it becomes bigger, it will be because of my authenticity and the
Authenticity.
guests.
Right. And then your
I'm not trying
listeners.
to compare myself to anyone. I'm not trying to what can I do different just for the sake of it. I enjoy having these conversations and I will continue to do this as long as I can, as long as I enjoy. Um, if I feel the need or have the inspiration to do something different, like we just talked about gear, that I did that series just about gear. Maybe we can do a new one. Things are changing so fast in cycling.
So
But
much.
yeah, so far I'm happy with what I created and I'm keeping it as is.
I love that. And I also love that it's not just the range. It's not like you're always sticking with female cyclists or ultra. It's the whole run of everything, like you're saying. You like to be in every aspect of it, mountain, gravel, every discipline. I know for even you were active as a child. Just let people know more about you, that how you got into cycling, how it lives in your life today. And I know you've had a big transition in your life this year too. It's just like what's going on with you personally and how does that affect different choices and guests and things and topics and stuff that you like to have on and share.
Wow, that's a lot to unpack. How did I get into cycling? I grew up with brothers, so we were always out and active and on the bike, but not as sports, just to get to friends' house, to go to the park, things like that. And then as an adult, I had a bike for commute. I moved to the US very young, and well, not very young, like young adult, 19, 20, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I got a bike. That was my means of transport. I was always active. I hated the gym. I was always very skinny and clumsy. I'm still clumsy. So I was never good at sports, or I never thought I was good at sports. No, I was never picked to be in anyone's team at PE in school.
Can
Anyways,
really
as an adult, I started cycling more and more. And I think it became more of a sport when I moved to Miami, actually. And I was in my very early 30s
Mm,
when I joined the Rose Bandits. So I wanted to ride more. And then I was Googling and I found this female cycling team, and I was completely oblivious of what that entailed. I just thought, the girls got together and rode their bikes, like I did, and I got there, and it was really, really tough. But they took me in, and I learned the ropes with them, and yeah, from there everything went. I started doing triathlons, and I never did road races because I'm super scared because there's so many accidents. But I did the Grand Fondos, back in the day when Grand Fondos didn't have medals or anything like that. Yeah, so that's my story with cycling. It was the Grand Fondos triathlon, and then I went into ultra cycling, adventure cycling, and
yeah, that was when you moved to Dubai and
yeah,
things,
then I
and
moved to
you
Dubai. Yeah, and
right.
then I was 10 years in Dubai. Then I decided I want to take it easier, and I got a job working from home, so I was able to move to Girona and just ride my bike more. But I was going through a lot of personal changes and ended up not riding my bike more and not being as in shape. So I really haven't been competitive for the last 2 years. I'm not sure if I will again be competitive. I do miss that part, but at this time, I don't have the mental space or even the motivation to be training 15, 20 hours a week like I used to.
Yeah.
But I'm really enjoying just being healthy and riding on the weekends and doing what I can on during the week. I picked up Pilates reformer, which I love. So yeah, I'm just focusing on being healthy, body and mind.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's always a balance, and I'm going to pivot there and stop because you mentioned that about transitioning and thinking, "Oh, I'm going to be moving to this huge cycling mecca, and I'm going to be on my bike all the time. I'm going to be in the best shape of my life." But we
Yeah.
don't take into effect, I'm now turning 50. There's different changes in my life. I'm very busy. I'm working on this. We don't tend to look at all of the different things that are around us that
Yeah.
it changes, and we don't realize, okay, menopause, we're women, things are changing in our bodies. There's a lot more behind that. A thought process can be like, we can build this perfect picture in our minds of what we can create and what we can do. Oh, we're going to sign up for this many events that year and have a full schedule and achieve this and do this. It doesn't always work that way. So yeah, we can share on that more, because I know in our friendship, we've shared on that and we constantly share on that. And I think that's an important topic to share in general as just women.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah.
15 hours isn't going to be ideal, and it's not going to work the same way, because no matter if you can do it temporarily for an event, is that sustainable? It's not
Right.
100% sustainable. And I think
Right.
in reality, sometimes we don't hear this aspect of things. They
Yeah.
always think, oh, if we present this on social media, if we talk about this all the time, that means we're so immersed. That doesn't always mean the same thing. So I really love that you're sharing that as well now.
Yeah, I think circumstances change, things change, and then you plan something and you think you're going to feel a way and you don't, you maybe you do, maybe you don't. And I think that's what happened to me. I thought my daughter went to the US for school. I had this remote job. I'm moving to Girona. I'm going to write more. But, it was a big change actually not having my daughter with me, and a big change having this remote work. It was a change of identity or losing my identity a little bit, which
Of
I thought I
course.
was ready for, or I didn't even process all that. Just when I was in that life, it hit me that, okay, I'm not an executive on a top 10 Forbes
Yeah.
company, and my daughter's not here. And now I have all this time, but I'm actually not riding my bike as much because I'm having all these feelings. Uh, but of course, with time, you
Yes.
adjust. And, it's good to listen to your body and not be so critical. Of course, it's easier said than done, but I'm in a lot of peace now. I'm really doing what I'm enjoying and what my body's craving. I'm not craving 15 hours, 20 hours of bike riding. I want to ride my bike. I want to be outside, but I also want to go for a hike with my dogs and, have time with my girlfriends. I think, especially with the triathlon as well, it's been like 15 years of my life that I have been so structured
Yes.
and barely have had a social life. It's just like mom, career, training, race. And it's been good to relax a little bit.
You need that. And it takes on a different aspect in your life as you age. Because I think that kind of shift can change so much. Because if you ever like interview maybe somebody who was a pro athlete or something, there's a big transition in their life or almost like an emptiness. And
Yeah.
it's the same for anybody leaving a different career.
Yeah.
I can share that too. I mean, I know what that feels like to shift yourself or a big move. Same thing. It really, you think that you can carry everything with you and that it will come along with you, but it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
And part
Well,
of the
that's the
journey,
other thing too, the big move, like
right?
not just cities, not just states, not just
No,
countries. It's like I
no,
moved continents, and yeah,
that's
it's a
huge.
lot. Yeah.
It's a lot. It's an ultra cycling event in itself because you go through literally,
Yeah.
there is the climb, the peak, the descent, that
Yeah.
joy, that happiness, that
Yeah.
fear,
I
that
think I finally hit the flat now and I'm taking a breather. I'm taking a breather. I'll start
I love
climbing
it.
again soon, but I'm enjoying this
It's
flat
the stage you're in. You're in that
tarmac.
comfort zone, right?
Yeah. I'm on zone 2. Thank you.
Yeah, love it. See, full circle, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think we speak about this so much. And I think the more we speak about it, the more development and joy that we bring out. And I think it brings us more clarity in so many ways. And then we're better if we get on a bike or we're better in another relationship. We're better in a different circumstance where we have to transition again or there's any changes with career, with move, with people. And that's something that you always tackle as well on every episode that I really love. You really kind of get into each and everything. I also like at the end, you don't do it with everybody, but I liked how at the end you're like, oh, I have some fun questions.
Oh
You'll
yeah,
be
yeah,
like,
yeah.
what's
I
your
do the quick fire.
yeah,
Yeah,
the
that
kick
that
the quick
that's fun. Yeah,
fires.
I don't do it with everyone, but yeah, yeah. When I remember, I put those in.
Yeah. And especially sometimes it's certain people's energy too. So, I
Yeah,
mean, come on, we
yeah,
have to share that. It's not like there's certain energies that it's just you kind of stay on track, on flow. And then there's certain energies where you can kind of play a little and it's fun and you can kind of get into those kind of things. What else would you like to talk about? Because now you're actually probably moving back to Girona. I don't know if
yeah,
you're comfortable sharing that, but
yeah,
that's going to be a new transition for you. I'm actually really excited for you because I think there have been so many things in your life in the past year that have brought so much growth that you think you've gone through every stage, whether it's
yeah,
grief, this, that, but I think you're like you said, you're on that smooth tarmac now and you're flowing.
yeah. I think I am coming through the other side. Is that how you say it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I left Girona because I was going through a breakup, a huge disappointment. And I came down to Seville because I have family here and I just wanted to be close to family. And it's been great. Well, it's been really hard, but it's been great to have support. And it's been great to be in a new place and really take everything all in. And I think being here brought a lot of clarity. Maybe if I stayed in Girona, I would be thinking the grass is greener. Maybe I should have gone to Seville. Maybe there would be better, this and that. And it's
Yes.
great to be here and be like, you know what? No, Girona is my place. I gave up a lot to go to Girona, and it's good to go away and really know that that was the right move for me. So yeah, so I'm getting ready to go back to Girona. I love Girona for a lot of things. I mean, Catalonia is just stunning and breathtaking, period. You have mountains, you have Costa Brava, and, with beautiful, beautiful coast towns. You are super close to Barcelona, you're super close to France, you have the Pyrenees. Uh, I mean, most of Spain is like that. Spain is just such a vast country. But culturally, Catalonia is closer to my personality. Catalans are more reserved, and the weather also it's better. Seville can get really, really hot during the summer, which I love the heat, but I'm just ready to go back to Girona. Also, because of the riding and the cycling, it's 100 times folds better in Girona. And cycling is a huge, huge part of my life, whether I am riding insane hours and training for races, or if I just want to go on a short stroll. Girona never lets you down. I mean, riding a bike
Yeah.
anywhere never lets you down, but you know what I mean. It's just so
Yeah.
beautiful. Yeah, it's going to be another big move, but I know what I'm getting into, so I'm excited about it.
I love that for you. And I can hear that excitement. Have you ever thought about maybe doing it would be fun to see a series where you can plan your own kind of bike packing little or day trips and share with listeners and maybe do an interview on the fly with different people in different areas, like bike back to that spot and then do
That's an idea. That's
um
an idea.
yeah, and share the experience as you're doing it. Wouldn't it be ideal
Mm-hmm.
if Ryan would
Yeah.
video it?
Yeah, sounds good.
Ryan.
But I do have She Rides, which is the
Um,
free women's bikepacking event
oh,
that,
wait. Tell us, when is this? When is this?
well, I
Okay.
had the first event last year in December in Portugal, and it was amazing. I enjoyed so much. It was a huge success. I have amazing brands behind supporting me on
Love
this.
this.
Ride with GPS, Oleos, Albion, Psych Plus. And I want to do one event every year. So we'll have the second edition in Girona. We'll probably do the same format. So it will be a loop and we stay overnight somewhere. The first edition was camping. The second edition, I want to include a hotel stay. So if
Okay.
you want to camp, you can. If you don't want to camp, you have the option to stay at a hotel. So I'm really excited to put that together and continue to do this to encourage more women to do ultra races or bike packing and just have a safe space for them to learn the ropes.
I wanna come to this one.
Yeah,
Is
you should.
Juliet gonna help you with is she was part of that one too, or was it just
No,
you?
no, no. She couldn't come. She wanted to come, but she couldn't make it. She had other commitments.
I'm sure a lot of listeners might ask about that because that friendship is so I love that friendship that you have with Juliet. She's hilarious. She has such a big personality.
Now I'm out of shape and she's getting stronger and stronger, but we have always been a good match. And Juliet is fine for her to slow down because she wants to have a good time and be with friends as well.
She has that type of personality, and so do you. You're very, like, easygoing like that. I know you like taking care of yourself and everything. That's important, and that's another thing is, like, all the products that support you and that you reach out to support the podcast. All of these products, it's not like maybe other podcasts that they're paying you to do something. These are products that you generally use and that you believe in, that you reach out to because you believe in them so much, you
Yeah,
wanna support and build the
100%.
community. Maybe share a little bit more about the partnerships and things you choose.
Well, the partnerships is very easy. I think, just like you said, there are products I love. I think everything started with Albion, actually. I love Albion. I am very minimalist in style and in colors, and Albion is just that
Classic.
and beyond. It's there's comfort, durability, and they really cater for ultra cycling. So when I started racing gravel, when I was, winning, I reached out to them and I said, I love your products. Would you, sponsor me? And we started our relationship, I don't know, 5, 6 years ago. And
It's
they
amazing.
still support me, even though I'm not racing anymore. I'm still like one of their test riders. I just love their products. And then from that, I love nutrition, and it took me a while to find something that worked for me. And then I finally found Tailwind,
Oh,
and it's
huge fan.
amazing, amazing. Yeah.
They're
So I started
amazing.
working with them, and I moved here to Spain. The US team introduced me to the Spain and Portuguese teams, and I'm working with them. I study nutrition as well. It's one of my passions. So I'm starting to do video series educating people on the product. So it's really cool. And so on with other things that I love. I love oleos because it's also liquid and it's so easy to digest and get into your bloodstream, and it's amazing. It's done in Switzerland, and I just love their product. And yeah, it's been a great ride, and I hope they continue to support me.
Yeah, I think so. So you studied nutrition. And I think you even wanted to, or you see clients privately, you have your own, platform for that too. But I think the podcast has opened that up even more as well, because like you said, you can do this series for brands you support and different events. So the platform changes. So we think maybe, oh, I'm just going to see clients, I'm going to do this, but it's funny how things start to take shape as different things in your life move. Did you do any kind of behavioral coaching or anything like that, or was it just nutrition?
Yeah, so I study sports nutrition, and then I study holistic nutrition. It's very focused on plant based because I am 90% of the time vegetarian. And then I study hormone health because of my age. And also my clients, a lot of my clients wanted help with that. And then I did take a couple of life coaching certifications, which is very helpful on human behavior and things like that. It's really helpful to tie the two together because a lot of eating is emotional eating, and also nutrition is changing behavior. So those are very helpful. But
I know you've had a lot of guests on, like just to transition, that have really kind of touched on how the mind body has played a role in their life, how motherhood has changed a role in their life, like females, just different aspects of training and pro level. And there's somebody that stands out to me, and I know she's one of your favorite guests too. I hope she's on again. I love her podcast too, is Sonia Looney. And
yes, oh,
oh my
she's
God.
amazing, amazing. Her podcast is so good.
Yes.
Um, Do the Good, I think it's called.
Yeah. And I know it changed. She like transitioned and changed the name and everything. And what I love is she's so vulnerable on her podcast. Has there
Yeah.
been anything that you feel, or anyone that has played such a huge role in your life, um, who's like impacted so much of it that you can share with listeners?
Oh, wow. My girlfriends, they have been my pillars. And I think also this last 2, 3 years going through all these life changes, I have a wonderful life, but going through hardships, you really find who your friends are. And
Mhm.
my friends have been my pillars for sure. For sure.
I know. It's when something happens and there's nothing there to entertain them, or you don't have something exciting all the time, and they're actually just sitting there and just checking on you every day. How you doing?
Exactly. When you
Just
have
making
nothing
you
to
laugh.
offer. And yeah, and then when you look back on other hardships, it's the same people. It's a very small circle of people. They are really, really special.
Yeah, I think that means so much. Well, I'm glad that we've had this time, and I hope the listeners have enjoyed all the different vulnerability and that you've shared in this, good hour or so that we've shared about a little bit more about you, kind of what kind of goes into everything. Because your show, it really is, it's a one-man show. You do this. And I also want you to recognize how much you do and how good you are at it, and
Oh,
how in
thank
awe
you.
I am of you. You are my best
Thank
friend in the
you.
world. I can't say enough about you. You're such a pillar of strength. I think you make me cry all the time. You make me laugh the hardest. Oh my God, the fact that we can share, we started our own book club too. I recommend doing that with any good friends because it's so much fun. Because if you don't like something, you can
Yeah.
share it with each other. If you have good friends, you don't have to say, okay, I like it if somebody doesn't like it. That's who you want around you, is people that can tell you no matter what. You've really taken everything in stride and you just keep pushing. You're such a fighter. You're so strong. You're so vulnerable. And it's okay to feel vulnerable and to feel like we want to coast, because
Yeah.
I think in that coasting is where we let ourselves, at that level, is where we can let ourselves breathe and we can actually open our eyes and take deep breaths and see and feel everything. When we're moving at such a high pace, it's so hard to really let in new information because it's coming at us so quickly. And I hope on this episode, I know it's been a little scattered. That's how I work. But I hope we've come around full circle and I've gotten to let the listeners know more about you.
I want to thank you so much for taking me up on this idea of interviewing me. It's been fun. I really enjoy this. We should do it maybe more often. Just come here and chit
Let's
chat.
do.
Come back soon.
Of course I will. Anytime. You know I love you. All right.
Love
Thank you
you.
so much for listening today. Thank you for letting me host today. I love you so much. I cherish you with all my life.
Guys, right back at you. And that's all for today's episode. I want to thank the listeners for tuning in. Your support means everything. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider following, leaving a review, and sharing it with your friends.